Welcome back to Traders Galaxy, and today we're going to have a look at the 5 Valiant factions. Hey all, I thought I'd do another video while I have time, and once again my apologies, my microphone still does not work. I don't know what's going on with it, but I'm just using the phone microphone. And I thought I would run through just a little bit about the Valiant factions now that all of the Valiant factions are sort of coming together, and talk a little bit about the development decisions and sort of aspects of Valiance that people may be confused about, especially if you haven't followed BotWar for a little while. You might sort of come back to it with BotWar 3 and go, oh, why are all the Valiants like separated? So there is actually now 5 separate factions for Valiants, and you can still use the 2nd edition combined Valiants, but they're just not as strong and they don't have the level of flavour that the individual battle groups have. So probably a year and a half ago, or maybe 2 years ago, I decided to slowly start transitioning the Valiants into different battle groups, and these were based on colours. So we have, I should actually start at the main battle, the first battle group actually, which here is the White Knights. Now the White Knights were technically never part of the Valiants, but they are obviously Valiants. And so they're led by Sordana here. This is Sordana Ascendant in her sort of super duper form. And they were a specific set of 12 miniatures that came out in that with their own faction guide, etc. And they were called the White Knights. So they're sort of like the special Valiants. I don't know what else to say about that, but they had a lot of extra abilities, like the ability to use different coloured energy, which was new at the time when these guys came out. And yeah, so people really enjoyed the White Knights. They were extremely popular faction. They sold out like relatively quickly, which was like really good. And yeah, the White Knights are now actually available as a 3D print faction on our My Mini Factory. But yeah, they've been really, really popular as a faction. And then we went to the Red Cannoneers here. So after the popularity of the White Knights and the fact that we just had so many Valiants that a lot of them, it was quite hard to fit them in. Like I found that despite having so many Valiants, a lot of people were taking similar Valiants over and over again, and that sort of wasn't the intent of how it was. So I decided to break the Valiants up into specialities. So these are obviously the Red Cannoneers, and the Red Cannoneers Valiants, they all specialise in short ranged attacks, like short range shooting. So this here is Heat Sink. And so Forge Fire. And so yeah, the Red Cannoneers were also extremely popular because they're a really, really good, really, really good. It's early in the morning. It's really good beginners faction because they're not super complex. They've got 1 inch extra range on their short range attack, which is unique in BotWar, and which makes them like quite powerful. And they also have a lot of units that are quite good at short range attack. Their upgrades are also geared towards short range attack as well. So they're a great beginners faction to start out on. If you're playing, especially if you're playing against really like expert players, the Red Cannoneers can give you help you stand with the best of them at the start. The trouble with the Red Cannoneers is that they don't have all the real tricky things that are for high level play. So they can help out at the start, but yeah, they're not Green Spectres, for instance. Which moves us over, obviously, to the Green Spectres. So the Green Spectres are a faction that has lots of like, I just call them like tricky things. Like, so they have Scout and Sabotage and all these extra little annoyances for your opponent. And so they are a little bit more complex to play because they mess with things like strategy rating and stuff like that. So you really need the type of brain that can map all that out in order to use the Green Spectres. But they're probably the most powerful of the Valiant forces, if I'm honest, because if you can get all that right, you can just really mess up your opponent all the time. So Green Spectres, I haven't managed to get the hang of them yet, but I'm sure that there is analytical brains out there that can run all those numbers required to ensure that the strategy ratings are all in their favour. So then we'll move on to the latest edition, which are the Golden Lions. Now the Golden Lions, I would say they're the priestly class, of course, of the Valiants, and that's why some of you see there the priests have their arm painted white. The Golden Lions are very resilient. They take a lot of hits. They've got a lot of repair, which is like much easier in BotWar 3 to do. They also can. They're also the closest in diplomatic relations with the Beast Lord, so they can actually summon a Beast Lord as well to the battlefield. So they're quite tanky. They take a lot of hits. They got a lot of repair. So they're probably a little bit light on energy. So you have to have a very good energy resource management game in order to use them effectively. But other than that, they're probably the most forgiving of all the Valiant forces. So we'll move on to the last one here now. The Blue Speedsters, these are just ones that I've painted, so they're not being professionally painted at all. The Blue Speedsters have not got their army book or faction guide out yet, but they are going to have obviously a lot of faster movement and also some good transport capabilities. So I'll just fix this camera. So you'll find that blue energy will be, you'll be able to, it's quite rare, but Blue Speedsters probably would be the faction that has the most access to blue energy, which will give an extra 3 inches movement when you use it to activate a move. They also have transports that can transport bots, which is quite rare as well. You can potentially do that in BotWar 3 with the stealth super ability, but just transporting normal bots with ram attack is quite a powerful ability, and it's extremely rare. In fact, I think it's only limited to mercs perhaps, and it will be for Blue Speedsters as well. So once again, Blue Speedsters won't be particularly resilient, but they will be fast. So there you have it. That's a very quick rundown of the Valiant factions, Valiant Battlegroups. Sorry, that camera's shaking there. And hopefully enjoy this very short video. Please ask any other questions in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys later.